So yesterday I was thrilled to get my print copies of the Dwarven Pickup Truck. And that's what we're going to take a look at today at Sharp Mountain Games. So today we're taking a look at the Dwarven Pickup Truck, which is available in print from Amazon and Lulu, and the PDF is available at DriveThru, and it's an adventure, obviously for use with your fantasy games. And in this video, we're not doing a hard sell, just a chance to show you what's in the book and see if you'd be interested in taking a look at it or picking it up. So let's take a look. Let's take a look at the PDF copy because that's easier to see on the screen. So on the front cover, you get right off the bat, you get a picture of the Dwarven Pickup Truck, and you can see it's made of wood, and it floats on 4 floating disc spells. And I should stress that it works for both old school and new school fantasy games. And on the back cover, you have a picture of the Naiad, who's a very important source of information in this adventure. And table of contents and copyright and all that stuff. And it might be worth saying here, it is worth saying, thank you to my players who play tested it, and also especially to David Cooper, who a friend of mine who really helped me with the editing. So right off the bat, you get an introduction. And as we said, you can use this for either older or newer systems because armor class is presented both ways. You get it both descending armor class, if you prefer that, or ascending armor class, which is used certainly in newer editions, and many people are comfortable with that. And you get some hints on how to adjust for party size and things like that. And then you get a little area map here with a home base of New Dawn. That would be a great setting, a great home base for any starting campaign. And then there's some other areas here that the players, absolutely could explore. So you could really use this area map and get a lot of mileage out of it. And then we get into the hook and getting the players involved in the adventure here. So the Dwarven Pickup Truck was was made by Brian Goldforge, who's a local dwarf, and it was stolen. His son and his buddies, they took it out to party out in the woods, and when they got back from their drinking party, the truck had been stolen. So there's some box text here to help you out, to get the players involved, that Brian talks to them. And there's a list of questions, gives them a chance to ask some questions and some suggested answers. And there's Brian. Now, they may also want to talk in town or make some purchases. So we give you a few townsfolk here that they can talk to and their descriptions, and a rumor table. Some are true and some are false. And you can dole them out as you see fit. You can even add to them. And then they'll go out, and one place they can go is the Naiad's Pond to try and get more information, to try and see who may have stolen the truck. And I get some stats there because she has some guardian vines who try to protect her pond. And here's a map of the pond. And I would also say if you buy the PDF through DriveThru, you get this map and you get all the maps in color, and they can easily be uploaded to your favorite virtual tabletop like Roll20 or Fantasy Grounds or whichever one you use. And then there's another encounter. You find the people who actually stole the truck, and these were the owlbearlins. So they're kind of humanoid owlbears. And you can interact with them. And, of course, a map of their village. And they actually have a pet owlbear, because what's a great adventure without at least one owlbear? And, again, you get this map in color through the PDF through DriveThru. There's a gnome village that they can visit, and the gnomes have been removed from the village. So the village is has been destroyed, and the gnomes are missing, so that adds another thing to the adventure. And then you get up to the cave where the pickup truck actually is and where the people who've stolen are. So this is where it becomes, I'd say a little more than a dungeon crawl, but where you get to the dungeon cave part of the adventure. And there's a guard dog, and you can see the map here. And, of course, there's a trap. Now, this is not an abandoned cave. This is more like a den or a warren because it's active. So if you think about the Keep on the Borderlands, where when you go into the caves, there's actually creatures living in there. Now, living in here are some dwarves who've set up camp in here. And their quarters are in there, and they build constructs, kind of like golems, so the party would have a chance to interact with them. There's a trap. And they've taken the gnomes and they've enslaved them to make them work for them. So you get some stats for them and certainly descriptions of the encounters, some suggested names. And then there's some failed constructs or failed golems. And eventually they'll make their way deep inside the cave, and they'll find the pickup truck that was stolen. But they'll find that the head dwarf in there, and he is an ally, you'll see on the next page, have made a golem based on the truck. I guess the dwarf was more interested in that or wanted to see what he can do. And the party will get to fight that and to fight these folks so that they can return the dwarven pickup truck. And the dwarf's ally is kind of an infernal or a tiefling. He's a member of the race called the Valkurok. We'll talk about that in a second. Then there's some information about going home and how to extend the adventure. There's 3 adventure hooks here which relate to some of the other areas shown on the map. So you could easily use this as a starting point. Run through this adventure and then take these, all 3 or some of them, and use them as plot hooks for your next adventure for the party. And you also get a little bit of information on the Valkurok. Again, they are people with an infernal bloodline, and they're kind of envisioned sort of as like the Klingons on Star Trek, that they'd be really good to keep around and kind of bring back, as recurring villains. Now you get a new monsters and sentience section here. So if you remember at the end, especially of older school modules, they would give you a list of the any new creatures or sentients that were presented here, and they're available. So you get some information on them. And you get pre-generated characters. So these are at level 5. And if you run old school games like I do, I always start my players usually off at about level 3. So by level 5, that's pretty good that they're starting to get some powers. They're not quite as brittle as a first level character. And that this is the level that the module was designed for. So you get all the standard types. You get cleric and dwarf and elf, and you can make them any gender that you need to. Halfling, magic user, thief. But then you get a few specialty ones, which are a way to show off some of our other products. But especially, you can use them and you can take them out for a test drive. So there's the Carven, and they're kind of like wooden robots, a little bit like the Warforged, but maybe a little bit different. You get the Halfling Thief, if you don't want to play just a Halfling, but you want to specialize. And of course, the Halfling Thief is well known in fantasy literature. And Wanderwoods, which are player character Ents. So if you've ever wanted to play an Ent or a tree Ent or a tree person. And of course, it all ends with the OGL. And the PDF comes in at 32 pages, the print copy at 30 because you have the cover. So obviously, this is meant to be a fun and lighthearted adventure. It's not the Temple of Elemental Evil. And in terms of length, I think it would easily fill it would be perfect for a convention slot, or if you play online. I think it took us maybe 2 or 3 roughly 2-hour sessions to get through the adventure. So that's how long it is. And all the links are below if you want to check it out on Amazon, Lulu, or DriveThru. Especially while you're at DriveThru, you could check out our other products from Sharp Mountain Games. And Amazon and Lulu, our other print product is the Sky Tree, and it's available there. So thanks very much for watching, and we'll see you in the next video. Have a great day.